All right, it's chip of the day. We have a SPA-0501 25H. It's a two-way SMT splitter, so it's a power splitter. I've done some videos on power splitters, like Wilkinson power splitters and stuff. This one's a little bit different, but it does the same thing. There's an input and then two outputs, so it splits the signal. This one is good from 1 megahertz to 500 megahertz. Nice range. And insertion loss 0.4 dB, isolation 25 dB, that's from port to port. Return loss 20, that's the matching. Amplitude balance 0.1. So the difference between the two amplitudes is 0.1 dB. And the phase balance is within a degree. Okay. And let's see here. So let me show you what's inside the construction of this thing. Here's a picture of, not this one, but a similar one. It uses a transformer construction. So there's a transformer in, and then there's two windings on the output. So one winding in, two windings out, and you use one of these little transformers. Okay, that's what it looks like inside. Let's see here. That is something different. All right. Amplitude, balance, phase. Yeah. So let's take a look at it. I found this somewhere. All right, there we go. Input RX1, RX2. Interesting. They call this one an MRA 216A. I think I got it on AliExpress, something like that. Now, when you buy these things, I've noticed a trend that I don't really like. There is a ground plane here that's stitched. Okay, great. And there's a edge connector SMA, great. And it's soldered down, great. But on the back side, they never solder on the back side. Even though there's places to solder it, they don't solder it. And even though there's stitching, it's better to solder both sides. That's what I think. That's my take. Yeah, so let's solder both sides before we do anything with it. I think that makes it better. Gives it a little better RF path. So yeah, let's do that. All right. That's good. All right, here we're on the VNA. I've calibrated it already. This is the part. Can you see it? Here's the part. One port has a 50 ohm load. The other port is a S21 measurement. And we can see it goes and falls off. We're going from 0.3 to 1.3 gigahertz. So 0.3 megahertz to 1.3 gigahertz. So there's a loss, which is the 6 dB loss that you would, or 3 dB loss that you would expect. So let's go ahead and zoom in a bit here. We'll do a scale. We'll do 5 per division. You can kind of see the 3 dB there. Let's go ahead and do 1 per division, and there's the 3, and then it rolls off. Okay, let's do scale. Let's do reference level. Let's move it up here. Move it up to -10. Oops. Let's do +10. That's what I meant to say. 0. No, what did I meant to say? +3. +3. -3. There we go. -3 is what I meant to say. All right, so here's -3. And we're just a little bit below that. So we're about -4. So that's the 1 dB. And it rolls off. So let's take a look at a marker. And we'll put the marker at 500 megahertz because that's where it's spec'd. And yeah, there you go. So here's the usable range, and then it goes blah. So yes, indeed, it's usable to 500 megahertz with some roll-off. It rolls off about half a dB, no, quarter of a dB, yeah, about quarter of a dB, right? From there to there, about a quarter of a dB. So very flat, very nice. All right, let's take a look at this thing with one different measurement. Well, but people always want to see S11 for some strange reason. Okay, let's look at S11. Measurement, reflection. Here's S11. Let's do auto scale. So we're looking at minus 14 dB return loss. And if you wanted to see that in, let's do sweep frequency. Let's do a stop of 500 megahertz. That's its usable range right there. So it's not right down here at minus 25, and then it pops up to, you know. So let's see here, let's go to the marker again. So it's very, very nice to 400 megahertz, and then it starts going up a little bit more. And if you want to see that in a Smith chart, everybody loves Smith charts, I do. There it is, it was wiggly around 50 ohms, so that's what you expect. All right. And if we want to turn this thing around and do S22, oh, it's a 3-port device, so I don't know how you would call that, S22, S33, I guess, yeah. I guess this is still an S22. Let's put this back on. And there you go, it's about the same. It's about the same, right? Log mag, maybe even a little bit better on the output than the input. All right, so it does match to 50 ohms. It is splitting just fine. What I'm really interested in is the accuracy between the two. And I don't have a 2-port VNA. Nobody's given me one yet. They do make them. You can get like 40 input devices these days. So let's go over to the oscilloscope, because we can use this on the oscilloscope. All right, good habits. I always hit preset, so I know the scope's in a known condition. We're going to use ports 5 and 6. And I'm using 2 cables that are the same. I'm going to be putting those 2 cables, put the outputs, I'm going to be going into C5, C6. And the input, I'm going to be using the internal generator. It goes to 50 megahertz, so we can test it up to there. Let's get it set up. Okay, so we need, let's push the buttons. We need 5 and we need 6. All right, so 5, let's make it a 50 ohm load. Let's see here, setup. Yeah, setup coupling, termination. Here we go, termination 50 ohms. So make this in 50 ohms. C6, we'll make it 50 ohms. Okay, that's good. All right, and then we will, let's see, how do I go to the generator? I don't use the generator very often on this thing, do I? Here we go, gen. Gen, we'll do sine, we'll do, oh, look at that. We'll do, kind of looks like it's modulating. Modulation is off. Okay, well. Oh, I know, it's because it's not triggered. We're triggering on C1, which is no good. Let's trigger on C5, channel 5. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and it's FM modulating. It is FM modulating. All right, so generator. Somebody's FM modulating. Oh, I go back to the generator. Generator. Modulation off, frequency. Let's do 10 megahertz. 10 megahertz. Out of range. What the heck am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Sweep is on. Turn the sweep off. There we go. All right, we have two lovely pictures here. And they should be, let's turn this one off all the way. There we go. So there's our 2 signals that should match. They should match. All right, so if we bring one up to the other one, they do look like they match. All right, so we're going to overlay the 2 of them. We're going to 0 this one and 0 that one. Now they're right on top of one another. go make this one nice and big. I'll make this one nice and big. Yeah, look at that. They are definitely matched very well. So yeah, it's a nice way to use the splitters. They don't have to be high frequency splitters. You can get splitters that operate all the way down to DC. This one goes down to 100 kilohertz. Let's see how it does down there. All right, so we have it all hooked up now, and we actually have two traces. There's one trace under the other trace. It's hiding in there. It's there. It's just identical, right? Yeah, it's just identical. So this is generator. This is at 30 kilohertz. Let's go to 10 megahertz. And looks good to me. And let's go to this thing's spec'd at 500 megahertz, but this thing only goes to 50 megahertz. We'll say 100 megahertz, and then it default says out of range. 50 megahertz. Yep, 50 megahertz is all the generator will do. But yeah, at 50. I grabbed the wrong knob. Sorry. Even at 50 megahertz, yeah, it's nice and even. So very good. The phase is good. Amplitude is good. Yeah, so this thing works from about 30 kilohertz to something that I can't measure right now. Let's see. Let me turn on another generator. There's a generator right here that will do higher frequencies. It will go up to like 200 and something megahertz. So let's get the output here. Yeah, there we go. That's 110 megahertz. Can we get it all on one screen? Yeah, 110 megahertz. And how fast will this go? 110. And yeah, perfectly fine. 220, 230 megahertz, 250 megahertz. I think that, yeah, 260 megahertz is as much as this generator will output. And we can change the amplitude. Very nice. Very, very nice. So at least a 260 megahertz tested, but it says 500, and it probably does even a little bit better than 500. Although we saw that on the Smith chart, so but maybe not. Maybe 500 is as much as it'll do. It might start to distort there a little bit. So, all right, I can hear the people screaming, "But IMSAI guy, you've got every piece of test equipment known to man. Why don't you test it at 500 megahertz? What's wrong with you?" Okay, okay. We use that one over there. That goes to 500. All right. So, can we get this all on screen? Oh, it's all on screen. I can see it all. Okay, so let's go to, where are we now? 250, let's go to 200 megahertz, 200 megahertz. Let's do amplitude. It's awfully high. Let's set it to 0 dBm. Let's go ahead and turn RF on. Yeah, it's even still a little high. So we will dial back the amplitude to something reasonable, like what we had before. Ooh, we're about there. That is actually minus 8.2 dBm. So that is at 200 megahertz. Let's go to 400 megahertz. Very nice. Still zoomy. And then let's go to arrow. 400. We'll go faster and faster. Oh, it's dying off. It's dying off. Okay, so here's 400, 450, 490. There's 500, and then it starts to die off. Yeah, it goes to 500, and then it starts to die off. Okay. Should have used that generator to begin with. But that one's just right in front of me. That one's just right in front of me. Anyway, there you go. They're super cheap on AliExpress or something if you want to split yourself some signals. It's always nice to be able to have a circuit where you run one run one throughout the thing and run one through the thing, and you can compare, you know, before and after type of thing. Easy to do.